Hey guys, it is Logan Holmes, and today, let me, trying to see if it'll, I'm just gonna do this. Anyway guys, today I will be reviewing the Rugrats movie. Okay. So this movie starts off. This movie starts off with an Indiana Jones parody. Then eventually we find out that that we're with, Tommy as Indiana Jones, and then Chucky, Phil, and Lil with them. And then we, found out that, and by the way, this movie is set between, the Season 5 episode, The Family Tree, and the Season 6 episode, Chucky's Duckling. So anyway, then we find out that Dee Dee is pregnant, as, well, we don't actually find that out, because we already knew that from the family tree. And then, Tommy learns from Angelica that, oh, by the way, I didn't mention, this movie is 81 minutes, but there are 2 deleted scenes that weren't included on this DVD, so really, even though there was a rumor that they were included on a rare VHS, but that was proven false. And, so yeah, this is really going to be 81 minutes and 2 deleted scenes in a nutshell. So then Angelica tells Tommy that with his sister around, because they think it's going to be a girl, then then Tommy won't get enough attention. So then so at the hospital there's like and Lucy Carmichael, aka Susie's mom, delivers the baby, because Lucy's a doctor. And then, surprisingly, they find out that it's a boy. And they decide to name it, Dylan Prescott Pickles, but they all call him Dill. And yeah, and then and Dill spends like 4 weeks, like he like cries for 4 weeks. And you see, here's my deal about excessive crying. I don't hate excessive crying, but, well, if it's for a good reason, then sure, but, like, if it's, like, for some stupid reason, like Caillou or SpongeBob would, or, like Caillou would, or how SpongeBob would in A Day Without Tears, then like that's when I hate excessive crying. But for this reason, no, I don't hate the excessive crying in here at all. Remember Angelica breaks a leg where Stu was making chocolate pudding at 4 o'clock in the morning, and Angelica had them up all night. Well, imagine imagine Stu and Dee Dee having to stay up more. They have to stay up more nights than that. And there's that one. Oh, and I also have to there's also a joke before I keep forgetting about a lot of stuff. There's this one joke before they go to the hospital where they're talking about like whether it'll be a girl or a boy, and then Charlotte says, "Born," you know what they say, "Born under Venus, look for A." And then Jonathan calls and cuts off the last word. There's one right there's so yep, there are this movie's got a lot of adult humor in it. And then there's also another joke where they're at the hospital, and then where there are a lot of babies who have just been born, and they're singing this song, and there's this one baby that's like, "They cut my cord," and then there's another baby that's like, "Consider yourself lucky," and he looks inside his diaper. So yeah. So the jokes here are funny already, and we're not even over yet. So what else? There's this one, and then like there's one where like Stu coughs, and then Dill's like perfectly fine, and Stu coughs, and he starts crying, and yeah. And then Stu and Dee Dee start singing them a lullaby. Well then, Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil have come to where, well, not exact, wait, Tommy's come to where he's had enough, so they decide to send, well, no, not Tommy, because it's, Chucky, Phil, and Lil have come to where they've had enough. And then Tommy, he's disagreeing. And so, they decide to send Dill back to the Hopsicle, which, that's what they call the hospital. And so they get in this Reptar wagon that Stu built, and they try and head to the Hopsicle. So then, but then they end up getting lost in the woods. And yeah, what else? And then eventually, Tommy comes to the point where, and then, oh, and also Angelica has, finds out that they took Cynthia with them, so Angelica and Spike try and head after them so she can retrieve Cynthia. And I will go a bit out of order, kind of. Well, no, not like that. So, Tommy comes to the point where well, first I should mention that back at the house, whenever, whenever they lose them, because, and then a news reporter comes there. They're like, "How do you feel that comes?" And then he starts asking a lot of questions, and then he asks Drew, "How do you feel that your brother Stu Pickles lost your one and only daughter?" And he's all like, "What?" And then he assaults Stu. So what else? And then Tommy comes to the point where he stops caring about Chucky, Phil, and Lil. And then Chucky, he's like, and Chucky comes to the point where Chucky, Phil, and Lil decide to ditch Tommy, and then, oh, and Tommy, he also has this compass called, he has this compass, and Stu gives him, and he decides to call it, "This is your, it's a responsibility," and then he pronounces it in some kind of, he didn't pronounce it responsibility. I don't exactly remember how he pronounced it. So then he decides that he doesn't want it anymore, and then he decides to, for a while he decides to ditch Dale, and then eventually he learns his lesson, and then he decides that he'll to start caring for Dale, and then he eventually gets Chucky, Phil, and Lil back, and then they go to the wizard's house. They find the ranger station, which they call which they think is the lizard's house, the wizard's house, or as they like to call it, the lizard's house. So and then the grown-ups eventually find them, and then and Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Dill all get together again. Oh, and also I would like to, and then to mention that Angelica sings a parody of, well, it's not exactly a parody, but she sings her own version of, you know, One Way or Another by Blondie. And yeah. So what do I think of this movie? This is a great movie. Not only that, but I consider this the best movie of all time. Please check out, if you've never seen this movie, please check this out. And also, if you want to watch Rugrats in Paris, the movie, which I'll review uh, after I do my top 10 best episodes of Rugrats Season 6. And if you want to watch Rugrats Go Wild, which it's going to take me quite a while to review Rugrats Go Wild, because this is a crossover with Wild Thornberrys, and I'm not going to review this movie until I've seen all the episodes of Wild Thornberrys. Then if you want those movies too, then you can go and get the trilogy movie collection. So, guys, anyway, that is it. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and peace out.